Hey guys, Neely here, coming in to give you my Trim Healthy Mama book review. The authors of the book were incredibly gracious and gave me a free copy so that I could read it and review it for you guys. But of course, it doesn't have to be a positive review. That wasn't a requirement. I am just going to tell you guys exactly what I think and yeah, just share it with you. I'm getting no other compensation besides a free book out of the deal. So just wanted to say that up front. The book has 5 sections in it, and I have gone through the first 2, which is actually probably the biggest sections of the book, and they are the ones that have the whole diet plan and all the science behind it in those sections. So that's what I've gone through, and I once I get finished with the other sections, I will do part 2 to this review and add on and let you know what I think of those. But basically, the 3rd section is recipes, the 4th section is the 2 authors' personal stories, and the 3rd section is more lifestyle things like exercise and skincare and things like that. So I have gone through the diet section and the part that talks about all the different foods you're supposed to eat and the meal timings and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my review of that part of the book right now. First of all, I have to say that I have been very, very impressed with this book. When I first heard about it and going in, I halfway expected it to be some variation of a low-carb or paleo diet, kind of put into Christian terms, and it to be kind of very simple. But I quickly found out that I was wrong, and I have found that this book is incredibly well-researched and incredibly thorough. And it really is a great all-in-one guide for healthy diet and living. The 2 authors of the book are 2 sisters that are also homeschool moms of big families. They are not doctors or scientists. They are just moms who are dedicated to researching and finding out the healthiest way for them to live and the healthiest way to feed their families. So as a stay-at-home mom and a homeschool mom myself, I definitely do not underestimate the power of a homeschool mom that is motivated to find what's right for themselves and what's right for their family. I know how hard we can work to find something that will help us. I've read a lot of diet books and health books in the last 10 years as my journey for health has gone on. And a lot of these books are written by doctors or scientists that have kind of one area of expertise, and they take what they learn from their specific area and try to build a program around it. And a lot of times they have a lot of good stuff to say, and there's a lot of good nuggets to glean from what they say, but I have found for myself that I haven't been able to find something that I'm able to just jump on the bandwagon with and do 100% and it be right for me. I found more that I have to kind of pick and choose from these different philosophies and plans and experts, the things that will work for me and my body, and kind of put together my own type of plan based around my body and how I know that it works. So the thing I like about the Trim Healthy Mama book is that it is by moms just like me who have done the same thing as I have done. They have read all kinds of research, all kinds of books, all kinds of information on diet and health, and they have picked out from what they have learned and put it all together into a plan that works for them and seems to be working for people like them, busy people that need some help and some structure to get the results that they're looking for. So as I was reading the book, I was so impressed because they kept quoting from all these people that I have read and learned from and feel have helped me so much. So I would hear quotes from Sally Fallon, Robert Lustig, Dr. Atkins, Gary Taubes, all these people that I have a lot of respect for and I have learned so much from, and it was nice to see that they had gone through all of the same information and the same research, and that I wouldn't necessarily have to throw out what I believed from those people, but it was affirmed in the book. But even though they affirm a lot of the things that are in the books of the other experts, it's clear that they didn't just latch on to one of those experts and just go die hard for that one plan or that one style of eating. They really did a good job of looking at the whole picture and looking at all the different experts and research and choosing the things from each one that was helpful for them and that has been helpful for the people that they have guided into this diet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through two negatives, two things that I didn't like about the book, because I have to get those out, and I'll try to get them out quick and then move on to the positives. The first thing is the name of the book. Trim Healthy Mama sounds corny. Now, I know that when they wrote the book, they weren't planning on trying to reach the masses, and they weren't trying to be, doctors and scientists and have some super scientific name or whatever, but it does sound corny. And like I said, when I first heard about it, I don't know, a year or two ago, I wasn't really interested in looking into it because the name just sounded like it was just going to be not so well researched, just going to be a silly little diet. Definitely, I was wrong, but I am still a little embarrassed when anyone asks about what I'm doing to say I'm on the Trim Healthy Mama plan. It sounds a little silly. I'm just saying. So that is the first negative that I have, which isn't about the diet itself. It's just about the name. The second is also just about the name. The second thing is the fact that it's Trim Healthy Mama. And now I am a mama myself, so I am not offended that it says mama. But I could see how others who either are not married and don't have children, or women who are married and unable to conceive, it might be a little difficult for them even to look into the diet, and definitely they could feel some hindrance in entering into the community on Facebook and that stuff because they are specifically not moms. It does seem that the authors are aware of this issue because it looks like, from what I gather, the cover of the book has changed from its original printing. It used to have a little picture of a baby on the bottom, and then now it says, instead of the picture of the baby, it has a little subtitle that says, "For women of all ages and stages," or something like that. So it seems like they are aware of it and have taken steps to fix it, but that's just one of my concerns about sharing this with people, is if I'm sharing it with a friend who is, childless, I don't want them to feel unwelcomed or like it's not for them when it really could be the thing that helps them. So that's really all I have to say about the negatives. It's not much, and now I will go on to my positive points. So the first very positive thing that I like about the book is that they are very pro-fat. And I don't mean pro-body fat, I mean they're pro-healthy dietary fat. From the research I have done, I am convinced that having a high healthy fat diet is good for optimal health. I am convinced that, for myself, going on a low-fat diet is not something that would be good for my body. So the fact that they are very pro-healthy fat is a big bonus for me. I have found, though, that when I try to eat a low-carb, high-fat with all my healthy fats, I can't sustain it, and I don't feel as well. So I knew that I needed to add carbs back into my diet. But whenever I would try to do that, along with all of my good healthy fats that I'm convinced that I need to be eating, I would gain weight, and my weight would be out of control. So the fact that they promise weight control along with eating carbs and fat was very alluring to me, and definitely is one of the main reasons I started looking into it more. Like I said, I was coming from a very low carb diet. I had been on a very low carb diet, ketogenic diet, for about 6 months, and I just found that I got to the point where I couldn't sustain it anymore. It was hard to stick to because my body was rebelling against it, and it just needed carbs And I got to the point where I gained back all the weight that I had lost, and it was like my body was very super sensitive to gaining, and I kind of was just scared that the scale would just keep going up and up and up, and I wasn't going to be able to control it, and I didn't know what to do to fix it. And that's when I really started looking into Trim Healthy Mama. And once I started their separating fats and carbs into separate meals, my weight gain stopped and actually started going down. So that was very exciting for me. Just the fact that I was able to stop the weight gain is a huge win in my book. It was difficult for me, though, because I so very much believe in the science of the low-carb diet and the hypothesis that insulin causes fat gain and high blood sugar causes weight gain. And I felt like I couldn't reconcile those things that I knew with the fact that my body wanted carbs and seemed to need carbs to be healthy. So in reading the book, they give such a clear picture of how you can reconcile those two seemingly opposing viewpoints. And so I was able to, I didn't have to throw away everything I believed about low-carb diets and what I've learned about the science of them, but I was able to learn how to add the carbs in without and while still getting the benefits of the low-carb science. That second positive thing about this diet, in my opinion, is it doesn't cut out any food groups. It doesn't cut out fat, it doesn't cut out carbs, it doesn't limit protein. It really is a all-encompassing diet, and it includes everything. This is something that I have struggled with for a long time, trying to reconcile. I didn't want to cut out food groups, and I wanted to be able to eat a very balanced diet, but I felt like I just got to the point where my body, I wasn't able to maintain a healthy weight doing that, and so I got to the point where I was willing to say I will cut out carbs and never eat them again if it means that I can maintain a healthy weight and be healthy. But eventually my body just caught on and started rebelling, and then it was just impossible to stick to the diet where the carbs were cut out completely. So having a plan that allows for carbs and fat and still promises and seems to deliver, based on the testimonies, weight loss, it seems like a dream come true. And I'm still at the beginning stages of it, and I will definitely continue to keep you guys updated on my own progress. But so far, I am doing very well on it, and it seems to be delivering on what it promises. Okay, positive number 3. Another thing I love about this diet is that portion control is easily worked into the plan. You don't have to count calories and be hyper aware of all the food that you're eating, like weighing and counting all the different grams of things, but there are some loose guidelines to each kind of meal of how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat you can have in the meal, and it's very easy to kind of guesstimate based on portion sizes rather than weighing and tracking everything. On other diets that I've done, especially low-carb diets where they say a certain food group is totally off limits, but the other food groups are unlimited, then I would find myself way overeating the unlimited food groups because there was no boundaries on it, and especially because I was trying to make up for the food group that I was missing, I just was not able to handle the portion control, and it was way too easy just to overeat on the things that were unlimited. On this diet, there's very little that's really unlimited except for maybe protein and fat at certain meals, but that's only at certain times, and it's very easy to stay within the bounds because your body is getting everything it needs. It's not trying to make up for a nutrient or a macronutrient like carbohydrates that are completely cut out. Since your body is getting some of everything, it's not like gonna cause you to be extra hungry and eat too much of the other thing that you're unlimited on. So the guidelines with the portion control are very easy, and they seem like they'll be very simple to do long term. Okay, the next positive thing is that this diet is made for the real world. It allows for some convenience foods like low carb wraps or low carb pastas and a few other packaged items like that. And I know that this can be extremely helpful for people who are just starting out and this is their first type of diet change. It can be very overwhelming to go from, eating packaged meals and fast food to eating all, from scratch, batch cooking, all that kind of stuff. It can be extremely overwhelming. And I know that when I first went on the Atkins diet, over 10 years ago now, I definitely used all kinds of low carb ingredients and packaged foods like bars and pasta and mixes and all that stuff. So I know that it can be extremely helpful when you're first starting out any kind of a diet change to have those easy foods that kind of mimic the foods you're used to until you can more and more get into making your own from scratch fresh foods. So this diet is definitely built with real life in mind. I mean, we could talk about what the optimum diet is with all kinds of exotic and nutrient dense foods and, fermented and everything else, and we can talk about that all day long, but if it's not doable, it's not going to work. So I do like how this diet is just made for real life and for busy moms especially, who don't have time and money to do all kinds of crazy exotic superfoods. And but then at the same time, they do talk about a lot of healthy, very healthy superfood type things that you're able to add in as you're able, as your finances allow, as your time allows, and just basically what works with your life. You don't have to be an all or nothing purist to get the benefits of this diet. At the beginning of the book, they go through 4 different types of women, and they name these women Whole Grain Jane, Drive-Thru Sue, Raw Green Colleen, and Farm Fresh Tess. And they just kind of describe these women and their eating habits, and on the surface you see that they all look very different, and you'd think that they must have different issues and different problems based on their diet, but the authors really break down what is going on in each of them and how it really is very similar. Each of them are having very similar issues based on the foods that they're eating, even though their diets look extremely different. So even though I'm coming to this diet from a very whole foods, paleo-ish type background where I do make a lot of my stuff from scratch and I do try to incorporate a lot of superfoods and nutrient-dense foods, it doesn't mean that everyone has to, and that if you don't come with that perspective that you won't gain something. The 2 authors, they're sisters, and they describe themselves. One describes herself as a purist, that's Serene, and then Pearl describes herself as the Drive-Thru Sue that likes to do, whatever shortcuts she needs to. She's not as interested in all the nutrient density and having everything perfectly organic all the time. She's a little bit more laid back. And I definitely identify more with Serene on a lot of things, but in reading the book, it has helped me to kind of loosen up a little bit and realize that if I have, a really good nutrient-dense diet most of the time, that if I have a bite or two of something that's not as pure, that it won't kill me and it'll be fine. And so it's definitely helped me to loosen up a little bit. So you can see with the 2 authors, they come at it from a very different perspective, yet still somehow they were able to write this book together, and they're both able to stay on plan, even though they have different philosophies about things. And as you go through the book, you will see parts where they basically argue with each other about different topics. So you're able to glean their perspectives, and then you're able to use that to help yourself to build your own ideas and your own convictions about the different things that you want to eat or include. So overall, you guys, I really, really recommend this book. I truly believe it is a great all-in-one health book that anyone can pick up and read and gain something from to add to their lifestyle. Even if you are a seasoned veteran of diet and health, or if you are just for the very first time making a change, this book is a great resource in learning and being able to grow in your knowledge and add things to your lifestyle that will help you to be more healthy. And if the title Trim Healthy Mama turned you off initially, please reconsider. The book is not corny, although the name is a little bit. So I hope that gives you a good idea of what I think about this plan. I didn't get a ton into the specifics about the different meals and the different timing and stuff, but I do want to do an overview video of the diet and just kind of give you the basics so you can just know a little bit about it and maybe get started and decide if you are ready to purchase the book and really get started on the plan. I definitely recommend the book, and trying to do the diet without it would be very difficult, and it just gives you such a great picture of all the different aspects and all the things that you need to know to really be successful. So I definitely highly recommend the book, but I do want to give you some of the basics so you can decide if you do want to take the plunge and order the book. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions and any comments. Just leave them down in the comment section. I love to hear from you guys. And that's it. I will talk to you guys again real soon. Bye.